On July 26, 1703, the rural population of Tyrol rallied against Bavarian forces commanded by Maximilian II, Emanuel. Maximilian II Emanuel strategizes with his officers, discussing the planned march to Vienna during the War of the Spanish Succession. Tyrolean villagers gather in secret, uniting with a sense of urgency to defend their homeland from foreign invaders. The Bavarian Army, supported by French allies, marches through North Tyrol, unaware of the resistance that awaits them. As tensions rise, villagers spread the word of an impending confrontation, rallying every able-bodied person to defend against Bavarian invaders. Maximilian II Emanuel rides forth, his presence sought to instill confidence in his troops as they gather for battle. Conflict brews as the villagers, inspired by their leaders, adopt defensive positions along the Pontlatzer Bridge. The Bavarian army advances cautiously, their formation tight as they approach the bridge, their eyes scanning for signs of the enemy. The villagers, bolstered by their unity, prepare themselves mentally and emotionally for the imminent clash with the Bavarian forces. Maximilian II Emanuel, upon sensing the villagers' resolve, decides the time has come to strike first in an attempt to unnerve them. As drums beat in the distance, both sides ready themselves for the Battle of Pontlatzer Bridge, with anticipation and fear in the air. In a final gathering, the Tyrolean villagers chant for courage, a testament to their resolve for independence from foreign rule. With the signal given, the Tyrolean villagers charge towards the Bavarian forces, driven by the desire to protect their homeland. The Bavarian soldiers, taken aback by the fervor of the villagers, struggle to maintain their formation as the battle begins. Maximilian II Emanuel watches the clash unfold from a distance, formulating his next tactical move amidst the confusion. In the midst of battle, a young Tyrolean villager faces a Bavarian soldier, their eyes locked in a moment of fierce determination. The sound of clashes and battle cries fills the air as the two sides clash at the bridge, each fighting fiercely for their cause. As the battle unfolds, the villagers find courage in their collective spirit, refusing to back down against the Bavarian army. The Bavarian soldiers, recognizing the unexpectedly strong resistance, start feeling the pressure as the battle shifts. Maximilian II Emanuel is forced to reassess his strategy as he sees his troops losing ground to the villagers' brave stand. The fight at the Pontlatzer Bridge intensifies as villagers launch a surprise attack, leveraging the element of surprise. Amidst the chaos, Maximilian II Emanuel tries to rally his troops, emphasizing the importance of their mission against the villagers. The villagers, inspired by their leaders, push forward, clamoring for victory as their spirits rise in the heart of the battle. As the battle unfolds, the tides of war seem to turn as villagers begin to gain the upper hand against enemy forces. The sound of the villagers' rallying cries fills the air, pushing them to fight fiercely and protect their homeland. Maximilian II Emanuel strategizes anew, knowing defeat could spell disaster for his plan to conquer Vienna. The villagers, bolstered by their victories, prepare to launch a decisive assault to force the Bavarians back. The Tyrolean villagers, emboldened by their shared resolve, crowd along the banks of the river, shouting encouragements and displaying makeshift banners. A palpable tension hangs in the air as they await the arrival of Maximilian's forces. As the Bavarians approach, Maximilian II Emanuel rides at the forefront, surveying the Tyrolean defenses. He raises his sword high, rallying his troops as they prepare for battle, determination etched on his face. Amidst the brewing storm of conflict, a Tyrolean villager stands confidently, rallying his companions. His voice echoes through the crowd, inspiring each person to fight for their homeland. As the two sides draw closer, a Bavarian soldier can be seen whispering anxious words to his companion, revealing the fear that grips some members of the army. The initial clash occurs as the villagers charge forth, wielding pitchforks and handmade weapons, their cries echoing through the valley as the battle lines blur. Maximilian II Emanuel watches as his troops falter under the villagers' surprising ferocity, his brow furrowing in concern at the sight of their unrelenting spirit. The Tyrolean villagers, buoyed by their initial success, regroup and form a strategic line, feeling a newfound sense of bravery coursing through them as they face the Bavarians once again. The Bavarian soldiers, struggling to maintain formation, are encouraged by Maximilian to push back, embodying the pressure of leadership in the face of adversity. As the battle rages, both sides suffer losses. The cries of fallen soldiers resonate through the valley, a grim reminder of the stakes involved in this fierce confrontation. The villagers, inspired by the prospect of defending their homes, launch a counterattack with renewed vigor, surprising the Bavarian forces once more with their tenacity. Realizing the pressures of defeat, Maximilian II Emanuel calls for a strategic retreat, his face revealing the difficult decision ahead, as the battle doesn't unfold as he predicted. With the villagers gaining momentum, they coordinate their attacks, shouting slogans of pride and resistance that echo through the region, bolstering their morale. In the midst of chaos, the Bavarian soldiers begin to show signs of anxiety and despair, questioning their chances of victory against such fervent defenders of the land. As the fight progresses, the Tyrolean villagers find clever tactics to outmaneuver the Bavarians, emphasizing cunning strategy that reflects their understanding of the terrain. Acknowledging the dire situation, Maximilian II Emanuel devises a last-ditch plan to regain control, drawing on his experience as a military leader. Renewed determination among Tyrolean villagers prompts them to initiate a massive charge, dancing on the edge of fervor and fear as they press against the Bavarian ranks. With morale plummeting, young Bavarian soldiers exchange worried glances, their hands trembling as they prepare to face yet another wave of villagers, sensing the shift in power dynamics. Maximilian II Emanuel watches the ongoing struggle, weighing the impact of the villagers' determination, feeling the pressure mount as the battle edges towards an unpredictable climax. As the battle continues, whispers of unity spread among the Tyrolean villagers, forming smaller groups to strategize their next assault, bent on overwhelming the Bavarians. Facing a wave of determined Tyroleans, a Bavarian commander calls for an organized defense, urging his troops to hold steadfast against the relentless assault. Caught in the tensions of the day, the Tyrolean villagers unite their voices in a song that embodies their struggle, reverberating throughout the battleground, lifting spirits. Despite his initial confidence, the Bavarian soldier's eyes reflect dread as the villagers gain the upper hand, symbolizing the shifting fortunes of battle. Seeing a gap in the Bavarian defenses, the Tyrolean villagers seize the opportunity to make a breakthrough, cohesively charging towards their foes with a mighty roar. The relentless advance of the Tyrolean villagers forces Maximilian II Emanuel to confront the reality of defeat, contemplating the potential repercussions for his leadership and military prowess. As the Tyrolean villagers push forward, a sense of camaraderie flourishes among them, and they begin to shout names of fallen heroes, renewing their fight with the power of remembrance. On July 26, 1703, the Tyrolean villagers prepare for the confrontation at Pontlatzer Bridge, gathering their supplies and weapons while sharing stories of their heritage to inspire each other. As the Bavarian forces approach, Maximilian II Emanuel surveys the landscape from a vantage point, strategizing his troop movements and feeling the pressure of the looming battle. With a sudden rallying cry, the Tyrolean villagers launch their surprise counterattack, just as the Bavarian forces cross the bridge, catching them off guard. Maximilian II Emanuel witnesses the ferocity of the Tyrolean defense and quickly orders his troops to form a solid line, determined to hold the ground at all costs. As the battle intensifies, the cries of men and the clash of swords fill the air, with both sides pushing forward, determined to emerge victorious in the fierce struggle. The Tyrolean villagers, fueled by their passionate resolve, managed to flank the Bavarian troops, creating momentary confusion among the enemy ranks. Maximilian II, Emanuel, realizes his troops are losing ground and sends a frantic message to his officers, desperately strategizing a counteroffensive. With quick thinking and tactical maneuvers, the Tyroleans utilize their knowledge of the terrain, exploiting every advantage they have against the invading forces. As casualties mount, both sides exhibit signs of fatigue, but the villagers draw strength from their passion for independence and protectiveness of their land. In a bold move, the Tyrolean villagers initiate a fierce final assault, knowing that this moment will define their struggle for freedom. Maximilian Emanuel, realizing the precarious situation, begins to lose confidence in his leadership as he witnesses the resolve of the villagers. The decisive clash at the Pontlatzer Bridge culminates in a fierce rivalry, and the Tyrolean villagers push the Bavarian forces back relentlessly. With heavy losses on both sides, the Bavarian forces become increasingly demoralized, as the Tyroleans' unity shines bright against the adversity. As the villagers continue their assault, Maximilian II, Emanuel, makes the fateful decision to issue a retreat, recognizing the turning tide of battle. The decisive retreat of the Bavarian forces marks a significant turning point for the Tyroleans, who celebrate their hard-fought victory along the riverbanks. In the aftermath of the battle, the Tyrolean villagers gather to pay tribute to their fallen heroes, vowing to stand united against any future threats. News of the Tyrolean victory spreads quickly, inspiring other regions resisting Bavarian and French pressures, igniting a new wave of hope and courage. Maximilian II, Emanuel, forced to reconsider his ambitions, realizes the implications of this defeat for Bavaria's plans during the War of the Spanish Succession. The victory at Pontlatzer Bridge not only symbolizes the resilience of the Tyrolean people, but also serves as a critical blow to Bavaria's plans in the ongoing war.